The morning sun stretched its fingers over the Riverside Animal Control Facility in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, casting long shadows across the cold concrete. Sheriff Tom Bradley stood just inside the doorway of the observation room, his hand resting on the cold steel of his Sayre VYC weapon. His fingers brushed the textured grip, knowing in just 20 minutes, he would have to do something he had been dreading for weeks. He had to put down Titan, a 2,000-pound Angus bull, whose violent outbursts had terrified the community for months. Titan stood in his reinforced pen at the far end of the facility, his massive black frame trembling with barely contained rage. His eyes, bloodshot and wild, followed every movement outside his enclosure. His hooves struck the concrete floor with a force that left deep gouges, and the thick steel bars surrounding his pen bore the telltale marks of countless attempts to break free. "I still don't like this, Tom," said Dr. Sarah Mitchell, the facility's head veterinarian, her voice laced with concern as she approached him, clipboard in hand, full of incident reports. 3 attacks in 2 months. Mrs. Henderson still can't use her right arm properly. And that kid from the Peterson farm. He's lucky to be alive. Sheriff Bradley nodded grimly. He remembered the call that had sealed Titan's fate. It had been 8-year-old Jimmy Peterson helping his father repair a fence when Titan charged without warning. The bull had trampled the boy, Leah VYing him with 2 broken ribs and a punctured lung. Jimmy was recovering, but the community's patience had long since run out. The judge's order was clear. "The boy will recover," Sheriff Bradley muttered, his voice heavy with resignation. "But Titan's classified as a dangerous animal. Too many incidents, too much risk. We can't relocate him. No sanctuary will take an aggressive bull with this kind of history." Through the thick, reinforced glass of the observation room, they could see Titan pacing back and forth. Every step he took seemed to leave a small crater in the concrete floor, and every few minutes, he would stop and ram his head into the bars, the metallic clang echoing through the facility like a death knell. Dr. Mitchell sighed, flipping through Titan's medical records. "What I don't understand, Tom, is why he became so violent. According to his pre-VYS owner, Titan was gentle as a lamb for the first 5 years of his life. Prize-winning show bull, calm around children, never showed a hint of aggression. Then something changed." She paused, her brow furrowing as she flipped through the pages. 3 different veterinarians examined him. No brain tumors, no OBVYS injuries, no signs of disease. Blood work came back normal. It's like he just snapped. Sheriff Bradley checked his watch 25 minutes. He could already hear the distant murmurs of the crowd outside. Protesters holding signs that read, "Save Titan," and "Animals deserve justice," while others supported the decision to put the bull down, including several of Titan's VY Tims and their families. The local news crew had arrived an hour ago, turning what should have been a quiet, necessary procedure into a media circus. "Maybe some animals are just born bad," Bradley muttered, though the words felt wrong as soon as they left his mouth. In his 15 years as sheriff, he had seen enough to know that violence often had roots, reasons that weren't always VY-sible on the surface. Dr. Mitchell was about to respond when a commotion erupted near the entrance. A woman was arguing loudly with the security guard, gesturing frantically toward a small figure beside her. Even from a distance, they could see it was a chilled little girl, no older than 8 or 9 years old. "That's Maria Santos," Dr. Mitchell recognized. "She works at the deaf school downtown. I wonder what she's doing here." The argument grew more heated, with Maria pointing repeatedly toward Titan's pen, while the security guard shook his head firmly. But the little girl beside her stood perfectly still, her dark eyes fixed not on the adults arguing above her, but on something beyond the glass walls of the facility. She was looking directly at Titan, and something strange happened. Titan, who had been pacing, stopped. For the first time in weeks, the massive bull stood perfectly still. His head turned toward the entrance, where the little girl stood, and his wild, panicked eyes, usually filled with rage, seemed almost curious. "Tom," Dr. Mitchell whispered, her voice filled with awe, "look at him. I've never seen Titan calm like that. What do you think that little girl is seeing that we're not?" Sheriff Bradley's heart began to race as he watched the girl press her hands against the glass. Titan, the bull they had been ready to euthanize, seemed to respond to her in a way that neither science nor logic could explain. The little girl's name was Maya Santos. Born profoundly deaf, Maya had never heard a single sound in her life. She experienced the world through vibrations, visual cues, and an intuitive understanding of body language that amazed everyone around her. Her Aunt Maria, who worked as a sign language interpreter at the Cedar Rapids School for the Deaf, had brought her to the facility not to protest, not to support, but because Maya had insisted on coming after seeing the story on the news. She just wants to see the bull for a moment, Maria pleaded with the security guard, signing for Maya's benefit. She's been obsessed with this story since yesterday. I can't explain it, but she says she understands what's wrong with him. The guard, Pete, a burly man, looked skeptical. Ma'am, this is an active animal control situation. We can't just let civilians, especially children, get close to a dangerous animal that's about to be. He paused, glancing down at Maya's innocent face. Well, you know. But Maya wasn't paying attention to the conversation. She pressed her small hands against the glass. Her eyes locked on Titan with an intensity that made everyone around her uncomfortable. Unlike the adults, who saw a dangerous, unpredictable animal, Maya seemed to see something else entirely. Through the glass, she could see Titan's massive form standing perfectly still. What was strange was that this bull, known for his violent outbursts, looked lost, hurt, and vulnerable. His body language spoke to Maya in ways words never could. Maria translated quickly as Maya signed something to her, her small hands moving with the fluid grace of someone who had been communicating this way her whole life. She says, Maria paused, shaking her head in disbelief. She says the bull is in pain, that he's not angry or scared, and she says she can help him. Before anyone could react, Sheriff Bradley approached. He had seen enough in his career to know when something unusual was happening, and the way Titan had reacted to the little girl's presence was definitely unusual. Dr. Mitchell, he called, his voice low. How much time do we have? 15 minutes, she replied, checking her watch nervously. Bradley studied Maya for a moment, noting how she stood completely unafraid despite being told about Titan's violent history. Most adults wouldn't get within 50 feet of the bull's pen, but this 8-year-old girl seemed drawn to him like a magnet. What exactly is she saying? Bradley asked Maria. Maria signed the question to Maya, who responded with a series of rapid gestures, a complex series of signs that seemed to tell an entire story. Maria's eyes widened as she translated. She says Titan isn't a bad bull. She says something is hurting him, making him act crazy. She wants to get closer to him. Dr. Mitchell, her medical curiosity overriding her caution, asked, how could she possibly know that? She's never seen the bull before, never examined him. Maya continued signing, and Maria's face went pale. She says she can feel his pain, that when she puts her hands on the glass, she can sense the vibrations of his distress. She says it's like he's screaming, but nobody can hear him. The facility fell silent, except for the distant sound of Titan's breathing. Even the protesters outside seemed to sense that something important was happening. Maya pressed her hands against the glass again, her small face a mask of concentration. Then something remarkable happened. Titan, who had been standing motionless, began to move slowly toward the glass. Not with the aggressive charge that had characterized his behavior for months, but with careful, deliberate steps. When he reached the barrier, he lowered his massive head until it was level with Maya's. They stood there, separated by the glass, a condemned bull and a deaf child communicating in a language that neither science nor experience could explain. Sheriff Bradley whispered, "What is she doing?" Dr. Mitchell stepped closer, her scientific mind struggling to process what she was witnessing. "I don't know, but look at Titan's vital signs." The readings, which had been spiking erratically for weeks, began to steady. Maya's small hands moved gently along the glass, tracing in visible patterns. It wasn't sign language. It wasn't any language they knew. It was something more instinctual, more primal. Titan's response was immediate. His breathing, once rapid and agitated, began to slow. His wild, panicked eyes softened, and something that resembled relief passed over his face. For the first time in months, Titan's massive body relaxed. "This is impossible," Dr. Mitchell breathed. "His cortisol levels are dropping. His heart rate is normalizing. It's like she's sedating him somehow." Maya continued, her hands tracing in visible pictures with her fingers, telling a story only Titan could understand. The tension in the room was palpable. Dr. Mitchell, now fully invested, moved closer. "We need to act fast," she said. "We need to remove that metal." Maya guided Dr. Mitchell's hand to a spot just behind Titan's left ear, where they found something foreign lodged deep within the bull's ear canal, sharp metal, perhaps from one of his many attempts to break free. The realization hit. Titan's attacks had all occurred in situations with loud noises. The county fair with its loudspeakers, the Peterson farm during tractor operation, Mrs. Henderson's property during a backyard barbecue with music blaring. The noise was what triggered his pain, his desperate attempts to escape it. With the help of Dr. Mitchell and Maya's calm presence, they carefully removed the piece of metal, and Titan, finally free of his torment, responded with a deep, rumbling sigh. His panic was gone, replaced by a sense of calm that no one had thought possible. As Titan lowered himself to the ground, he nuzzled Maya gently. The bull, once a terror, now seemed like a massive, gentle creature, grateful and calm, a creature reborn. Outside, the crowd was in disbelief. Word spread quickly. Titan had been saved not by lawyers, not by protesters, but by a deaf girl who had listened when no one else could. Maya's incredible connection with the bull had saved him from a fate no one thought he could escape. The bull wasn't a monster. He was simply in pain, and Maya was the one who had heard his silent scream. What would you have done in Sheriff Bradley's position? Would you have followed the rules, or would you have trusted a child's extraordinary gift? Let us know in the comments below. Share your thoughts on the bond between humans and animals. Is it really possible for a child to understand what no one else can? And if you've ever seen something like this in your life, we want to hear your story. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can continue sharing these incredible moments with you.